Hello everybody, welcome along. It's good to see everyone. How are we doing? Just drop me a little hello in the chat if you can see me, that'd be great. But welcome to Wales versus Ireland. Let's see if I can get some audio. Let's pop you on voice meter. Welcome, how's everyone doing? 5 of us here. Welcome along. Restark, welcome in. How are we doing? I'm not sure if that's you or your dad, but either way, good to see you here. There we go. We've got a bit of national anthems going along. Oh, what a torrid day England were yesterday. But there we go. We got a few people in. That's good to see. Anyway, we will crack on. And as always, welcome along. So let's have a look at the squads quickly then. So let's jump on over to the Wales squad. We've got Jones, Owens, Francis, Beard, Alan Wynne-Jones, Lydis, Falatau and Tuparik. And then in the backs we've got Williams, Bigger, Jay Williams, North, Amos, Halfpenny and Rhys Sammet. It's always a battle of the Twitter on a Friday afternoon, isn't it? Yes, Rhys, I'm very well. Thank you ever so much for asking. So that's the Wales squad. Let's have a look at Ireland. We've got Healy, Herring, Porter, Bernie, or however you say it, Ryan, O'Mahony, Stander, and I missed the last one. Then in backs we've got Murray, Sexton, Henshaw, Ringrose, Lowe, Keenan and Earls. So those are our starting teams. Check us out today as well. We've got ball tracking. We're all over it today. What are our predicted scores for the day? What are we saying? Who's saying what? I reckon Ireland by 6. Ireland by 6. But I got it wrong yesterday. I said Italy would keep it under 50. They didn't. And I also said that England would win by 12. They didn't. But never mind. We move. But anyway, back to the BBC today. And we've got our old pal Wayne Barnes at the helm. As we get ready to kick off. But here we go. Luke Pearce is running touch as well, and I didn't see the other guy. Some Frenchie. Ireland win 25-37. It'll be a good game if it is. Be a hell of a watch. Let's see if I can keep my headphones connected today. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see these two. See what they've done since the autumn internationals. Why do you keep disconnecting like that? But, yeah, away we go. Wales then have the ball, and they're going to truck it up a little bit. It's good to see. Good to see a little bit of ball in hand for a change, unlike England yesterday. Patrick Shaw, welcome in. Come on, Ireland. Do you know what? I think Ireland have got this today. I'm with you on that one. But welcome along, Patrick. Welcome to the watch along. Wherever you are, hope you're enjoying the game, even though it's only just started. But yeah, stick with us. and a little bit of kicking going around at the minute. Weather looks all right there, to be fair. I just finished watching the Newcastle Exeter game, and it was snowing. It looked dreadful. It looked like a horrible day for rugby. Yeah, it didn't look much fun out there, much cop. I wouldn't, rather them than me. Put it that way. Let's see if we can't make that a bit more. That's a bit better. There we go. So yes, what are we saying about these two sides? I'm thinking that Ireland are probably in better shape than Wales. But Wales have got the penalty at the minute, so we will see how they get on. We will see how they do. I notice our little ball tracking's a little bit behind, so bear with me on that. Oh, is it lagging? Oh, is it really laggy, guys? Oh, I can't be chewing with laggy today. We had that all day yesterday. I don't know. There we go. I think we're back. We're going back to how we used to be. On the single camera. There we go. We're back. We're cooking. We're rolling. The Big is back. Good day, The Big. How are you? How's it going? Let's see what we can see. Let's get the game back on. What do we got? Missed a little bit of the game footage while we were just... There we go. Right. Anyway, how are you, The Big? What's new? What's good? What a difference a day makes in quality, hey? So Wales 3-0. And already we've seen more rugby today from these two teams than we did from England yesterday. I was looking at the stats yesterday after the game, being all salty and whatnot, because I was salty. I can't lie about it. Stuart Hogg made more carries on his own than the entire England back line. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely crazy. But it is what it is. And, you know, what can you do about it? We move. So, yeah, anyway. Just the three of us again this afternoon. But it's quality, not quantity. So I'm glad to have you with us. As Ireland get the advantage for the knock-on, and Keenan's away. Rewatched the England game again this morning, and it was even worse second time around. But fair play to Scotland. How could you put yourself through that, Rob? How could you put yourself through that awesome performance? Scotland were on point. It's very easy to beat England these days. You just don't kick them the ball back. And it's as simple as that. England will kick the ball back to you after 3 phases. It doesn't take a genius to work out, as long as you've got the ball, you've got the opportunity to score a try or win a penalty, which is exactly what Ireland did, as Ireland sort of start playing walking rugby here. Ireland now moving it wing to wing with a little grubber through. Doesn't really go anywhere. And easy for Wales, really. So glad I went with France yesterday, Dickie. Thanks for that. Such a fraud. Fuck off. No worries. I'm here for all your gambling needs. It's not over yet. It's not over yet for England. If we beat France, and France beat everybody else, we're still in with a shout. We need some bonus points, though. We got the bonus point yesterday, so it's 1 point. It's 1 point on the board. We're not bottom of the pack. Anyway, we've got a scrum just inside the Welsh 22. For Wales. Hearing a lot of folk now saying Scotland continues to win this Six Nations this year. Don't write them off, I suppose, but I think it's unlikely. A good win for Newcastle. Yeah, it was a good win for Newcastle. Bit premature. Look, one bad England performance, which they have every 18 months, versus one exceptional Scotland performance. I hope for Scotland that they keep it up, because they were exceptional yesterday, and it's only good for rugby if they're a bit more competitive than they have been. I don't like to see Scotland and Italy as the whipping boys. I do like to see a bit of a game, but we've got a bit of kick tennis now, as Sexton kicks again, and there's something Italy didn't do yesterday. Both teams just kicking just inside the 22. It means it makes such a difference. All of a sudden the next kicker's got to think. They're not as bad as Italy. They're not as bad as Italy, but they're not much better. So yeah, it was pretty poo. It normally finishes Italy at the bottom and then Scotland above them with one win, which is against Italy. So yeah, not the most ideal. Gotta say, Sexton's buzz cut gives me lockdown haircut vibes. Do you know what? There's been some banging lockdown haircuts, haven't they? I didn't realise the scale of it. No wonder you was unhappy in Discord. Yeah, it was pretty poo. Ken, welcome in. How are you? Hey kids, welcome. So yeah, we were just discussing the poo-ness of England yesterday. I mean, it speaks volumes, as I said, when Stewie Hogg has more carries than the entire... You're still crying. I was crying into my Chinese last night. It speaks volumes when Stuart Hogg has more carries than the entire back line. But here's the kicker. Pardon the pun. Next week, you can almost guarantee the people that will get cut from the team will be Ollie Lawrence, Mark Wilson, Anthony Watson. Those will be the three big ones to go. Even though Johnny May had an absolute stinker, they won't cut him. They won't cut Farrell. They'll probably move Farrell to 12 and put Ford at 10. And yeah, so he'll replace Lawrence. Shocking. Not the people that need to go. Daly needs to go. Vinny Villapola needs to go. So when a player is cut, do they make the bench or they drop from the squad? Well, either or. Not in the starting lineup is what I mean. What does Farrell bring playing at 12? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. He's just... Farrell at 12 is just a second 10. Thought Watson came on as a sub. No, he started. No, he started, Rob. He didn't touch the ball until the 57th minute on his own try line and was expected to go to full length with 3 defenders on him. Ollie Lawrence didn't touch the ball till the 62nd minute and he played at 12. So if the man outside your 10 isn't touching the ball, what's your 10 doing? I realised that we rewatched it this morning. It's mental, isn't it? Mental that you're 12 and one of your biggest threats in attack is playing at is getting 1 or 2 touches. Yesterday had eerily frightening similarities to the World Cup final. Yeah, England are a side, and let me just adjust this slightly so I'm not so wonky. England have got that one strategy approach to rugby, and if it fails, as it did yesterday, and as it did in the World Cup final, they haven't got a plan B. There is no plan B. It's score first and intimidate. We're conducting... Well, I actually thought instead of playing rugby, England were conducting a head and shoulders campaign. With all their mullets and whatnot, yeah. It's odd to have so many talented players and get snuffed out like that. Look, they haven't got game minutes in them. You know, when a third of your squad is from Saracens, who haven't played any rugby since March, yeah. Okay, when I say any rugby, they obviously played in the autumn internationals, and they've played 2 friendlies against Ealing Trailfinders, but they are not getting competitive rugby, and I think that's probably where the problem lies. Yeah, Ken, we've been criticising the Irish for years for having no plan B, and that was all I could think about yesterday. How can we have no plan B? We haven't had a plan B for 5 years. We've just had a game plan that worked. And, Josh Navardi on. Injury replacement. So, anyway, on to some decent ruggers, because we've got some decent ruggers here in the first 12 minutes. Wales, Ireland. I mean, this is a real grudge match in itself, isn't it? I mean, Eddie's one of the cleverest guys in the game. You're not wrong. He is. How is it possible? He's one of the cleverest guys in the game, but he's also one of the most egotistical guys in the game, and thinks that that he won't be caught out. Eddie Jones' philosophy is takes a team's strengths and makes them do as well as they can with those strong points. And watching, yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much all he does, and he does it very, very well. You know, take nothing away from Eddie. Ewan, and watching the rugby until the Liverpool game. Okay, mate, cool. Happy to have you along for the ride, my friend. In any one week, England have the biggest depth outside of New Zealand, and a week later, yeah. You know, Gregor Townsend said it before the game yesterday. You know, England could lose 12 back row players and still have a phenomenal back row. But where were they yesterday? They were made to look amateur. You know, how oh, and we're Peter Omani, I'm seeing red. So we've gone to TMO. Omani's basically just basically tackled his face on his way down. It's direct contact with the head from the shoulder. It's red for me. There's no wrap with his left arm. So Wayne Barnes had just said the facts are definitely foul play. He's come from a distance at high speed and hit someone in the head. I can't see anything but red. He knew what he was doing. Yeah, absolutely. That's changed the game completely. And he's got a red card out. It can't be anything but red. It can't be anything but red. And that's poor discipline from Peter Romani. He's going down. He was already going down. Yeah, absolutely, Ken. He knew what he was doing. All day long. No, you can't get away with that. What time is it with you? I'm on 14:11. I'm on 13:40. 13:40 I'm on. There we go. So, what a shame, because that's probably spoiled what was going to be a fabulous game. So what position does he play, and will that affect the game? So Peter Romani is a flanker. So yeah, it's going to affect the scrum. And also the quality of him as a player is going to affect the game. We've got faster feed in France. I'm on my McDonald's Wi-Fi, isn't I? So McDonald's Wi-Fi is killing me here on BBC iPlayer. But spoilers are fine. Spoilers are fine. I don't mind spoilers. Right then. Thanks, Ewan. So, Wales with a line out just, well, halfway between the 22 and the 10. I tell you what, this would be a huge win for Ireland now if they could pull it off from here. One man down. But let's talk about that. I mean, in this instance, Peter Romani, clearly, direct contact with the head. This red card will become a talking point for the media in the next few days. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Another yellow coming up, do you think? Or is there? How the hell did Barnes miss that? Barnes is aging. I think he'd be a very good TMO, Barnes. But we're maybe coming to the end of an era. Midfield tackle around the neck. Oh no, he hasn't missed it. He's just given penalty only, hasn't he? So penalty. I think at full speed he could probably, yeah, could probably say he slipped up. But anyway, Wales have got the bit between their teeth, haven't they? They look like they've been working hard in camp. Oh. Slow-mo that. I'm sure they'll give us a replay. I'm sure they'll give us a replay. That was a yellow, surely. I don't know. When they show us the replay, I'll have a look. Well, we are going back for the high tackle. That was a long advantage. So Wayne's saying he slipped up over the shoulder. So let's have a look at the replay. Well, Well, there is mitigation, Ken. If it slips up, then that's fair enough. And it looked like 50-50. I can see why you say yellow all day. It's a tough one. Ewan, I do enjoy the TMO system and how clear it is compared to VAR. I've been saying this for years, mate. The FA need to look at TMO and say, oh, that's how it should be done. But UEFA and the FA and everybody else think they know best. Bloody Sexton again. Knew what he was doing. Wonder if there hadn't been the end, would Barnes have carded? Oh, what if Mahoney wasn't off? Maybe. I mean, I only saw one replay of it, and in my opinion, he started just above the ball and then slid off the shoulder onto the neck. At full speed though, it looked a bit naughty. But anyway, Wales convert the penalty 6-0. 6-0. Wales look a completely different side to the side that was played in the Autumn Nations. What do we think of Farrell? Andy Farrell? Do you think he's good enough to be a head coach? Do you think he's got enough experience? And do you think this is a transition period? Well, not a transition period, but do you think they're just biding their time for Lancaster to free up from Leinster? I think he's a great player. I don't know. England Ireland must be interesting for him and Owen. Do you know what? They say they don't talk about it, but it must come up, mustn't it? It must come up every now and again. George North is playing. He needs a permanent dead cert for an insurance claim in the future. Oh, do you know what I mean? He's going to be well on that. Hello, adventurers. How are you? Okay. Yeah, George North's playing 13. I think he's knocked out every other week. I think the wind blows his hair and then he's all over the place. Mind you, the time he was knocked out for the Lions, it was an epic moment. Picking up the tackler and then using him as a battering ram. Big string lad, but has taken way too many knocks. Well, yeah. I mean, what do we attribute that to? Is that poor technique? Oh, big strong lad, sorry. Yeah, way too many knocks, but I think we need to look at why that is. You know, we say all the time, oh, they've taken too many knocks, we've got to get them out of the game. Could it have been prevented though? You know, is it his technique? Has he got poor technique? Could we have coached him better? Poor technique from North. Well, just looking at that last tackle he made, he's got his face all over the place. And that's a lovely little kick. Puts Wales under pressure. Line out on their own 5. And Wales just bump it up to give themselves a bit better field position. Not too much you can do. He's on the wing. He's going to get slotted on his way to the end zone. Yeah, well, he is going to get slotted. But there, you know, you can ride a tackle. You don't have to be. You can ride the wave a little bit. Yeah, you're going to get slotted every now and again, but you know there is a way to take the take a lot of the impact off it. Last year there was a video taken at the pre-Six Nations press event, and Andy Farrell was filmed shaking hands with all the team captains, conspicuously not shaking hands with. Oh, Is that where all this pretend beef comes from? That they hate each other? I hate the late cheap shot scorers when scorers get when they score. Yeah, I mean, what you mean when they're sliding in and then somebody just slides and leaves a shoulder on it on their ribs? Yeah, no, it's not necessary. It's probably something that the officials could look at. I agree. I remember playing in a game, and somebody did that, but instead of just leaving his elbow in, he put his fist through his face and burst his face open. Had to have 6 stitches. That was a red card. Fun fact: Owen Farrell was born when Andy was only 16. Doesn't surprise me. They're British. Of course they don't mind a bit of teenage pregnancy. Ireland look a bit lateral, don't they? I think there's a lot of love in the Farrell household. Strong Northern family. I agree. I think they probably did a little bit for the media, or this would be quite funny if we didn't shake hands. And the media have absolutely, they haven't just nibbled on that. They've bit hard and ran with it. That might explain the rumours of the weird relationship dynamic between the two. Yeah, there's loads of rumours going around that they hate each other's guts, and they, you know, Andy would pick anybody else to be his son than Owen. I don't think that's true. I think they probably just had I think they've just had a bit of a laugh at the media's expense. Johnny Sexton looks like he's about to cry. Doesn't he always? He's turned into a right diva of late. Ooh. Well, we talk about poor tackle technique, and that's a great example. He always looks that way, doesn't he? He always looks so angry, and if the game's not going Ireland's way, he can be a right nightmare to for captains to manage. Another shocker in midfield. Yeah, not a great looking tackle, that one, was it? But yeah. Sorry?
I'm gonna go get food.
Okay. Have fun.
I've only got half an hour, it's fine.
Yeah, no worries. And Henderson goes off. Henderson goes off for a HIA by the looks of it. Was it a good idea to make a 10 captain? I don't like 10s being captains. I think they've got enough to think about in terms of conducting play. I prefer to have maybe a 6 or 7, a back row player as captain, because they're in and around everything that's going on, but they haven't got to think too much about what's happening. So I much prefer back row as captains. I don't like 10s as captains. I think they've got enough on their plate conducting play, especially at this level. And yeah, you add more to that, and well, Josh Navidi has absolutely saved Wales' skin there with a lovely flick off the ball. Only good halfback captain was Gregan for the Wallabies. Well, yeah, I mean, if they've got the capacity to conduct play and manage the whole squad as well on the field, and look after the referee, then there's an argument for it. But I just think it's too much. And in 9 out of 10 cases, either they're a great captain, but become a lesser 10, or they're a great 10 and not a great captain. I don't think you can have both from the same position. And a great example of that is cricket. If you look at let's use England as the example, because it's a cricket team I know the most about. You look at any of the cricketers that have become captains. Is it Priestland at 10? No, it's Biggar at 10. You look at any of the cricketing captains and you look at their batting average, and it significantly drops when they become captain because they've got too much to think about. They're no longer just thinking about their game. And that's my poo example of why a 10 shouldn't be a captain as well. Anyway, Wales are deep inside their own 22, just trying to keep Ireland at bay. Ireland knocking on the door a little bit here, putting Wales under some pressure. I say it's not Priestland at 10. It started Biggar. I didn't see him go off. I'm pretty sure it's Biggar at 10. Biggar, so it's Mr. Wavy Hands against the biggest bitch in the Premiership. Ooh, I'll take that though. Yeah, no, that's decent. That's not a bad shout. Yeah, Dan Biggar's playing at 10. Yeah, I was going to say it's a decent defensive effort to not let the Welsh score missing a man. Yeah, no. Look, the best defence is more attack in some cases, and it seems that's what Ireland are going to go and try and do. Go and try and steal the game, and hope the bench has got enough. Johnny Sexton coming forward to take the kick. He looks goosed. 20 minutes in and he looks absolutely blowing. Biggar is a horror to watch. Super snarky. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And hey, we talk about tackle technique. There's a man who can make a decent tackle. Alan Wynne-Jones, what a legend of the game. Sexton is another who needs a constant HIA. Yeah, I mean, he's not the best with injuries. I mean, he's had a lot of trouble with his hammies recently, hasn't he? On his shoulder. But you have to give it to him. He battles through his injuries and his niggles. Even if it is to the degradation of his temperament. But here we go. Too many head knocks, indeed. He's looking old, though, isn't he? Plenty of grey coming through that buzz. How many seasons do you reckon he's got left in him? Hard to know which way to go without turning the game soft. As the kick goes through. The kick is good. So, 6-3. Wales lead. And you have to say, Ireland are scrapping hard to stay in this. 2 seasons and probably in France to get decent paycheck. Well, I was just going to say 2 seasons at the most. Yeah. Are Ireland also shooting themselves in the foot with the rugby quote? It's a great question. I would say no, not yet. There's time to blood a decent 10. But who are you going with? Are you going with Burns at 10? Or are you going with somebody else? I'd go with Burns at 10. And I would probably use him. That's a great kick that's not quite gone completely dead, as Halfpenny dots it down for the 22 dropout. Yeah, I would probably start off using Freddie Burns as a Sexton replacement for 60 minutes, and then sort of giving him 20 minutes here and there, and then start to, as you know, Sexton fades away, maybe switch the roles, and then Freddie for 60 minutes and Sexton for 20 until it's done. Ireland have got 3 good backup 10s, but none of them have shown world-class potential. Yeah, I agree. I agree, but, you know, with a few more minutes under their belts, there's no reason that they couldn't be. And Ireland, you wouldn't really notice that they're down to 14 men. They're covering the ground well. But I will say that they look pretty flat. Nobody's really running any lines. They're just sort of going laterally. It'll come through. Paddy Jackson is a super player. Got screwed by the IRFU. Did he? I don't know. I can't see Sexton making the Rugby World Cup squad unless the IRFU they'll let him stay when he's almost 40, just because, well, there were a few players in the Lions squad, weren't there? Probably time before last, Driscoll, etc. That probably didn't deserve their spot on performance, but they got a spot just because. So it's potentially likely, but it wouldn't be good for their. It wouldn't be good for their campaign. I wouldn't have thought. You know, I had to go. Oh, is this? Are these the guys that were on the rape charge, and it turned out to be false? But yeah, hard to comment on that without being politically incorrect. Look, if you've been proved to be innocent, then you're innocent, and best of luck to you, is what I would say. Oh, as the battery on my laptop starts to fade. Nothing has gone well today. Nothing has gone well today. There we go. Innocent is innocent. Well, exactly. So, you know, innocent is innocent, but equally, you know, that defamation of character is never great. It's never great for any player. Paddy now Irish, maybe a way back for him. Maybe. You know, that's it's always a good starting point. Stuart loves his life in France, so has stayed. Each to their own. Like, it probably wouldn't be for me, but let's be fair. The French league's a great league to play in. So if you're doing well and you're enjoying it, fair play to you. There was talk of Irish being the 5th province. What? London Irish? What? Really? London Irish, the 5th. What? Going over to the Pro 14? Can't see that. Can't see anybody letting that happen. But I suppose if. I mean, there's lots of different options that are coming out for all of these. All of these leagues, aren't there? Yeah, I know. It is a weird idea. You're not wrong, Ken. I mean, there's talk of ring fencing the Premiership, and making it a 14-team league. There's rumours that, very faint rumours, I must admit, but I've heard it a couple of times now, combining the Pro 14 with the Premiership, and having sort of like a England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, all in the same league. What's the answer though? I mean, well, what's there you go. There's one for you. What's your opinion on ring fencing the Premiership? Should we do that? I don't think so. I love the idea of having a relegation battle. It makes the league interesting. And I think it can only be good for the game if you've got people actually fighting to stay in it. Anyway, Ireland penalty in range. No, keep it way it is, otherwise it'd be tedious. Yeah, absolutely. By Christmas, half the league's playing dead rubbers because they've got nothing to play for. It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, the other argument for that, and this is very kickable for Sexton. What are we? 5 metres inside the 15, 2 metres inside the 22. Very, very kickable kick. And you would imagine that we're going to go close to half time, all square. If you look at the top 14 3 years ago, Montpellier in the final, today second from bottom, they have to fight. No ring fencing. No ring fencing, I agree. But here's what I think is going to happen. I can't see the championship, or the English championship, getting off the ground this season. We're into February and they still haven't started, which means Saracens are now facing a second season in the championship, and they're a major Premiership stakeholder. There is the Premiership, the board at the Premiership are not going to want Saracens down there for too long. What's life like in the second tier of pro rugby in England? I hear it's bits and pieces, and how it's difficult for clubs to survive financially outside of the Premiership. It's very difficult to survive. We've got a couple of teams locally, and it's very amateur. So Ampthill are one of the teams down there, and to get from their changing rooms to their first team pitch, you have to walk through a wood, and it's quite a trek to get to the pitches. But yeah, it's a bit of a mess, the championship. But it's not televised. It doesn't get great funding, and Ireland are a metre out, and they've scored. What would you think? What do you think of that? Wow. Ireland get the try. Didn't see that coming at all. I tell you what. Let's have another look at this. Robbie Henshaw on the switch. 3 tackles missed. Offload. Oh, it's got everything, this, hasn't it? And then a cheeky pick and go. Yeah, it's difficult to be in the championship. 2 teams which go up from Pro 2 are rarely the same teams every year. I mean, that's decent, you know, as long as it's not like the Premiership where the same team yo-yos up and down. Happy days. Rob, no, Championship, not all players are on pro contracts. A lot of them are on semi-pro contracts, and then they're employed by somebody at the club to do a day job as well. Putting that into consideration, I get why relegation might not be popular. I get why relegation isn't popular. But they get an umbrella payment from the Premiership. They're still a Premiership stakeholder, so they get their cut of the money, which makes them far more sustainable than the rest of the Championship, and that's why we have a yo-yo system. I played at Ampthill back in the day in the old 4th division. I remember that walk. It's bloody horrible, isn't it? I was playing for Sudbury at the time. You played for Sudbury? Lovely. Yeah, Pro 2 Division 2 seems more robust than the RFU Championship. Yeah, I think it is. If you don't like relegation, don't be involved in sport. Exactly. Your prediction could still be realistic. What was your prediction, Rob? Reese, sorry. Oh, you had 28 something, wasn't it? Played Ipswich, then Sudbury, then Irish. Oh, mate, Ipswich, I've played at Ipswich. It's a horrible place to get to. It was a 2.5 hour bus ride. London North 1. It was not a great day out. I'll have a booze bus on the way back though. 25:37. Well, it's still there. Still there, Reese. Humperdooshy Lane. Oh, was that where Ipswich is? Yeah. Penalty to Ireland. Ireland got it going on at the minute. Wales 6, Ireland 13. About 30 seconds left on the clock. Relegation works if there's a revolving door of teams moving in between the leagues, and if playing the lower league won't doom clubs to bankruptcy. Well, I think relegation in the English system is pretty much team gets relegated from the Prem. They go down and dog walk everybody in the Championship and bounce straight back up. Very rarely do we see teams go down and stay down. However, there have been 2 occasions where it has happened, which gave us Exeter Chiefs, and also gave us Bristol Bears back. Newcastle only spent 1 season in Championship. Yeah, most teams do. Worcester were one of those yo-yo teams that did that. And another penalty, quickly gone, and the clock is in the red for the half. So you would think Ireland just want to get off the pitch now and get their half-time oranges, but no, they move, they roll on. Wales 9 is effed. Yeah, Johnny Sexton's had enough. He was blowing 25 minutes into the game, so it's no surprise he wants off the pitch. Wales 9 is off for the game. Is he? Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. Looks like his hammy's gone. He's not walking comfortably, is he? Yeah. Nobody likes to see a hammy go. But there we go. Anyway, half time. What are our thoughts? What do we think of that? Oh, there's a stat for you. Peter O'Mahony, the first Irishman to ever be sent off in the Six Nations. Ireland somehow came to life, a man down. Do you know what? It does that to teams. You see it. You see it a lot. Not looking good for Pivac. Nah, it's not, is it? Better than both games yesterday. Better than both games combined yesterday. It was not a good opening day for the Six Nations yesterday. And that's not because England lost. There wasn't much exciting rugby to watch. I mean, this game on a Friday... Could you imagine if this game was the Friday night game to kick off the Six Nations? This would have been a juicy start. Castries play much better when down to 14 rather than 13. Most teams do, Ken. I don't know what it is. I think it's a psychology thing that, you know, everybody knows they've got to work a bit harder, so they step up 10%. Yeah, and they just seem to work a little bit harder. Got a Martin Johnson. Time has not been kind to Martin Johnson, has it? I've met him once. He's an absolute monster. Tiny ankles though. But yeah, I think a lot of teams, you know, I think once you lose a teammate, you know you've got to work a little bit harder to cover him. Eats with his feet. I can confirm. He came into my restaurant once when I was a restaurateur. He wolfed down it. Link to watch. Link to watch what? It's a watch along. BBC iPlayer is the link. But welcome in, Lucas. Yeah, if you want to watch the game and watch us alongside, happy days. Welcome along. But you'll need BBC iPlayer to do that, or Rugby Pass, depending on where in the world you are. Yeah. Do you know what though? If Ireland clinch this, Pivac is done for. Potentially. I mean, they won't do anything in the Six Nations. This match isn't on terrestrial. Yeah, it's on the BBC. It's on the BBC. I'm watching it on iPlayer, but you could watch it on BBC One. BBC One, yeah. It's on terrestrial telly. Can you write, I not speak English? Okay. Sure. BBC. There you go. Very random, but we'll take it. We'll take a viewer. We'll take anybody that comes in. It's free. It's free. Depends where you are, though. Thanks. You're welcome. Merry Christmas to you. That's one ring fencing I do approve of in France. Terrestrial gets all the Six Nations. Yeah, same. Look, I think more sport should be protected. I mean, you look at the sports that are protected. You've got most international football. Most international football. Can you... Snooker's protected. The Olympics are protected. No, Lucas, I can't write the link. It's just Google BBC iPlayer. Oh my God. You're from Argentina. Wow. We are international. We got Australia, Argentina, France, Dunstable. What are we saying, people? Amazing. Oh, what else is protected? I think that's pretty much it these days. Yeah. So more sport. You know, we talk Aussie in Hong Kong now, by the way. Of course you're in Hong Kong. How can I forget that? I keep forgetting that. Sorry, the big. You're in Hong Kong. Even more international. We'll take the Aussie element and we'll add in Hong Kong as well. FA Cup, yeah, FA Cup's protected. But look, we're a nation that talks a lot about sport, and we talk a lot about the importance of having engaging sport, and using sport as a catalyst to improve health. So why give sport only to the rich? You know, you take sport away from Joe Bloggs and you give it to Sky, who charge you 80 quid a month just to watch it. It's outrageous. I saw an interesting stat earlier. French club rugby is famous for never winning away. This season, it's at 53% win rate away from home. Yeah, it's really interesting to see these games without crowds. You know, it's had a massive effect. Home advantage has been obliterated, and it's not just in French rugby. It's in the English Prem, in both rugby and football. I mean, you look at Exeter. Exeter haven't had the start of the season that you would expect, given that there's no Saracens to challenge them. You look at Newcastle Falcons. They're in the top four. You look at the top four of the Prem and you go, they shouldn't really be there, but they are. Fake cheering played in the background gives some confidence, maybe. Don't know. I don't know if cheering is played into the stadium. I think it's only played on the TV. Which must make some of these bigger stadiums, like Twickenham and Principality, must make it really eerie. So what do we reckon's going on in the change rooms? They're just talking about this on the telly now. What are we saying? I'm saying Pivac's throwing the hairdryer around. If I'm the coach, this isn't good enough. You're a man up, and since the man's gone off, you've conceded 13 points. It's not good. In the Island change room, crack open a Guinness at half time, boys. You've earned it. Lots of swearing and a couple of slaps around the face. Pivac frantically Googling rugby coaching jobs. I know he's paid. Yeah. He's done, isn't he? I really think the mistake he made was ripping up the Gatland playbook when he walked through the door. I was chatting with a mate of mine who was sat 3 seats away from Eddie yesterday, and they were asking if I could hear any cheering, as it was silent at Twickenham. Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, there was a bit of background noise, wasn't there? But I mean, I can see why the tellies have done it, because it'd be a hard watch without it. Feel bad for Pivac. He had his success with Scarlets. Yeah. I think the mistake he made is he whipped up the Gatland playbook as soon as he walked through the door. Tried to implement too much too quickly. You know, when you're changing things, it's baby steps. It's baby steps, and it hasn't worked. Just shows that international rugby is a different game to elite club rugby. Oh, absolutely. You know, if you think about it, international rugby or test rugby is basically, it's a cup final. Every game is a cup final. Rarely do you go, oh well, we can afford to lose that one. Naturally, I asked for a video of the aftermatch change room. Never happened. Shock. Not surprised. I don't think there'd have been many beers handed out in that change room last night. You should be able to find shirtless photos of Owen Farrell online. Yeah, probably Twitter. Whoever controls the RFU Twitter loves a shirtless photo, don't they? They love a little bit of tops off rugby. Many punches and slaps, yes. Beers, hell no. Do you know what I mean? I would, if I was the coach, I'd leave the beers there. And if anybody touched one, as your dad says, Reese, car park conference. Because nobody should be pleased with that performance. But leave the beers there as a reminder of this is what you could have won. Make it a bit like a game show. This is what you could have won, as they roll out a speedboat. Right, so it looks like the players are about to resume, so I'm going to go and grab myself another coffee really quick. Chat amongst yourselves. I will be right back. Right, we're back. We're back. Davies on then. So scrum half off, Davies on. What I was saying, there should have been disagreements between players as well. 9 off, 21 on. Yeah. Williams off, Davies on. Oh, I love a hot coffee. All gone backwards and we're all good. We're all good. So the big argument of yesterday, should Italy be in the Six Nations? I mean, do we drop it to a Five Nations again? Or do we do something else? I love a hot KFC. Oh, it's all about Chicken George, Reese. You need to treat yourself to a Chicken George, mate. Do a two-tier system. Yeah, agree. I think there should be. Again, you know, the Italy games become dead rubber games because they're walkovers. Be interesting if they were fighting for relegation. And maybe at the end of it, if tier 2 teams aren't good enough, at the end of the Six Nations of both tiers, we have a playoff between the winner of tier 2 Six Nations. That's one hell of a kick. Oh, little too long. I thought he'd just made it. Don't talk to me about alcohol free. What you on, Ken? Ken, I imagine that you're in a lodge somewhere in France, supping a beautiful Bordeaux or a Merlot or something like that, in your smoking jacket. What was I saying? What are you on? What are you drinking? Sunday afternoon. What's your tipple? Maybe with the Italy games you could do what school kids do when last try wins the game. Do you know what I mean? I was in Cape Town a couple of weeks ago and they banned alcohol sale. It's pretty much the same here. All the pubs are shut. It's hard work. It's hard work with Georgia and countries like that. Yeah. Absolutely. Do George North side entry. Oh, George North got a bloody nose. So I'm in a fine dining restaurant in a vineyard and ordered a glass of alcohol-free wine. Oh, alcohol-free wine? Sacrilege. Sacrilege, my friend. Isn't that just grape juice? I suppose, yeah. Oh, he's got a little claw on his face. Okay, fair enough. I literally tasted death. I can imagine. I can't imagine that was all that great. So, yeah, accidental gouge. It happens. But, oh, we've got a little penalty tracker here. And since Ireland conceded the red card, they've given away 1 penalty. And Wales have given away a ton. Didn't even taste of grapes. Ugh. Grim. Anyway, going back to 2-tier, yeah, I think winner of tier 2 plays loser of tier 1 in a playoff to secure a place in next year's Six Nations Championship. Obviously, loser goes down, winner goes up. We could, that would make for an exciting 80 minutes if we had a playoff at the end of it all. Give a little bite to the last game, because you can guarantee on Super Saturday, the winners don't get to lift the trophy on the field. It hasn't been that way for a couple of years. We're waiting for other results, and then you get some pants Twitter shot of lifting the trophy on a training ground somewhere. What teams would be in Tier 2 though? So teams in Tier 2, you'd have Russia, Georgia. I'm starting to struggle already. But you could invite Fiji. You could invite Japan. Who else could you invite? This is sort of tier. You could basically invite any Tier 2 nation or Tier 3 nation. Maybe Spain. But yeah, let's go and find six Tier 2, Tier 3 nations that want to have a go. Would they be competitive in the top tier? Probably not. But are Italy? At least it makes the bottom of the table more interesting. Such a difficult thing with the Six Nations. I don't agree with ring fencing in the Premiership, but I'm 50-50 with the Six Nations. Yeah. I agree. I don't agree with ring fencing. And look, the Six Nations isn't a broken competition. I just think there's potential there to improve it slightly. Fiji and Japan could be. Fiji and Japan could be competitive. It's just then the travel arrangements. It's some hands go to the back shoulder. Another high tackle from Ireland. They're going to have a look at that. The only glaring issue with the Six Nations is the issue of Italy. Absolutely. So, you know, the other 5 teams, as we saw yesterday, are competitive with each other. But it's just high tackle, penalty only, no danger, in my opinion. Is contact with the neck, yes, but Twickenham still fills up for Italy. To be fair, Twickenham will always fill up. You could bring, you could bring, I don't know, the Arctic Circles under 15s, and Twickenham will still fill up because it's so difficult to get a ticket for a game, unless you're rolling in coin. That us mere mortals will settle to go for the lesser games. So yeah, that's why Twickenham sells out, because it's almost impossible to get a ticket for any other game. I've never seen the spectator numbers for this Studio Olimpico. Neither have I. I can imagine a massive PR disaster if they tell the Italians to bugger off. Yeah, it wouldn't be good. I mean, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. Stadio. Oh, sorry. I read it Studio as well. What an idiot. It never looks full. No, well, it certainly didn't yesterday, did it? And watching them poor players come off the pitch, they had to walk like half a mile to get to the bench. I'm guessing the track runs around the outside of the pitch, and therefore it's a bit of a trek to get to any seating. But you're right, it never looks full. But Italy's not really a rugby nation, is it? They are, you know, you wouldn't think of Italy and go rugby. You know, even at a province level, they're not all that. Try time. I guess the logic when Italy was added 21 years ago was that they'd be fully competitive by now. Yeah, I think that was the plan. But yes, 2 advantages, and here we go. George North then. Penalty advantage again, a 3rd advantage. Oh, lovely little... Oh! Game on indeed. And there's another example. And Restart, this is one for you. I know you're a whippersnapper. That's a prime example of why you carry the ball in two hands. Facts. He still knows to go for the middle lane, even with the concussion. A whippersnapper, a young lad, a young budding potential. But yeah, look at that. Carries it in two hands. Little dummy, and sells the winger, and then he's just allowed to take the inside shoulder there, and that's all it takes. And that is absolutely why you carry the ball in two hands, because you can fix a defender and you can tell him you're doing something completely different. And so many players tuck that ball into the armpit, and instantly a defender knows exactly where you're going and what you're going to do. Great try. So, halfpenny to square it up. Oh, has he missed it? 11-13. Let's have a look. What's he done? Oh my. In answer to your early point, I'm on the sofa with my 6-year-old with my calf up on ice because I dinged it skiing on Thursday. Ooh. Scenes you don't like to see. Speedy recovery. George North got a cut under both eyes. He looks like he's done 10 rounds with Tyson. He uses his face more than his shoulder. I'm sure of it. I got brought down the slope on the meat wagon. Oh dear, on the meat wagon. Oh. Anyway, so we've got a substitution. Keen Healy going off, and you would imagine that Ireland are going to need to exhaust their bench early. Meat wagon, yeah. You can't imagine my embarrassment. It happens to us all. Every now and then. But yeah, if Ireland are going to hold on to this, then they're going to have to utilise their bench to stay fresh, because they're going to have to work. But Ireland again on the front foot, and as I say that, they turn it over. Oh, and it's out on the full. Bye Sexton. No. What's happened to Sexton? Are you just trolling me? What's going on? What's happened to... Oh, Sexton takes another whack. Well, he's a big boy. Oh. Welcome home, adventurer. Has he just had somebody land on his head? I think that's just a Kit Kat. I think he's just having a Kit Kat break. Yeah, I think it's just a Kit Kat. Terrible Wicklow. Never mind. Anyway, we roll. Sexton carries on. Ooh. Here we go. Can Ireland cling on for 28 minutes? 28 minutes, a 2-point game. It's still very lateral. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking that Ireland aren't really running any lines. They're just sort of moving the ball laterally and then one-up runners. There's nobody cutting a shape. There's nobody cutting any real shapes. I mean, if you had a disciplined defensive line, you would think that you'd be able to handle them quite well. Classic Irish plan A. Yeah, route one. But you know, in their defence, it's working for them. And as I say that, you have somebody cut back, but straight into traffic. Penalty, Wales in at the side. H or HIA? I think he's just knackered. Or are they taking him off? Physio's there with him. Oh no, he is going off for a HIA. So Tadhg Furlong comes on anyway, not for Henshaw, but Porter off, Furlong on. And then we want a replacement for Henshaw, then, don't we? Billy Burns on for Henshaw. We're taking a leaf out of Eddie's book. I don't mind seeing Billy Burns though. I think he's a class act. But Wales just haven't really. Since that red card, they haven't really been at the races, have they? Ireland turnover again. Yeah, I know. I said Freddie early, didn't I? I meant Billy. Both quality players, though. Is he on his way back from Japan? I knew he went out there, but did he not have a good time? Did he not go well? I know he was struggling. The last I'd heard from him, as if I'm mates with him, but the last I'd heard of him was he was struggling with language. Earls was stupid. What's Earls done? Dinky little chip. But that's what you want to see from a box. Oh dear. Yeah. Let's have a look. Let's have a little look at the replay. It's a penalty only. It's a penalty only. He's tried to bring him down. Yeah, I think you are 30 seconds ahead still, Kent. But that's fine. Like I say, I don't mind spoilers. Gives me something to think about, something to talk about. There we go. So, all right, puppy. So Wales just outside the 22, and they lose the line out. Wales just looking a little bit rusty when they come into that pivotal moment. Pivac doesn't look very happy in the stands. But Wales have got away with it. Let's say that much. It's gone 5, and we're gonna have a big old maul 5 meters out, inching its way forward, and called once. Need to peel. Penalty advantage comes. Will Ireland get away with giving 3 penalties in the 22? Yeah, it's normally 5, isn't it? It's normally 5 before they start thinking about the book, going to the book. So yeah, collapsing them all. Wasn't quite moving fast enough either, was it? To yeah, it wasn't moving quite fast enough to give the penalty try. Wales takes the 3. No, they've gone to the corner. I've just seen that. Don't be trolling me, De Big. I see you trolling. Okay. Alan Wynne-Jones with a beautiful shiner. No, I'm behind. I thought that. What do you mean, who's the... Wayne Barnes has asked who the receiver is. What's he talking about? We don't want to be telling him who the receiver is. Or around his neck. Ken's calling try time. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Oh, and there we go. So we have got the advantage. Oh. Oh. Wow. Well, they're gonna check the try, but on-field decision is try. We're gonna check the trailing foot, and what hands? What hands? Great league-esque try. Yeah. They weren't messing about, were they? We weren't gonna have another phase. Did he stay up? Beautiful squat by the touch judge. All day. Wow. We've seen a lot of these tries recently. Dramatic stuff. Yes, we have seen a lot of these tries. Most recently, I'm thinking of Toby Flood for Newcastle. Literally picked it off his toes and lifted it for an 83rd minute winner. George North, though. George North, his head's not gone there, is it? Feet up. Oh, epic finish. Leon against Claremont last week twice. Was it? I don't watch a lot of top 14. I must admit. I should watch more, but I don't watch a lot of it. Maybe when we move these watch-alongs over to my other channel, maybe we'll watch some top 14. We'll mix it up a little bit. That's a great nudge. That's a quality nudge. Raka nearly took the guy's head off twice again. 87th minute. That's a great finish. And Wales, do they deserve the lead here? I'm trying to be non-biased. I mean, I want Wales to win. There's a little bit of Welsh blood in my veins, but the LNR are twats. They want too much money for the feed, so no one takes it. Fair enough. Oh. So 20 minutes to. Oh, what a car crash! There's a second UK somewhere that will buy it. Maybe. League National. Oh, I see. I'm with you now. I was thinking who LNR were, but yeah. Okay. I tell you what. This has got a little bit more tasty now, isn't it? Stander going to France. Is he? Where's he going? Stander in France. Anyway, knock on from Ireland. Wales with the scrum. Yeah, it's a knock on. He's whinging about it, but he's... Oh! To sing that Stander on Faletau. They're some big boys. I guarantee it'll be Montpellier if they stay up. Yeah, probably. I tell you what I don't like about top 14. The amount of money that is thrown around. You just throw money around like it's no one's business. There's more Saffers in Montpellier than in Cape Town. And in the Scotland team. Although there wasn't yesterday, so I'm not going to complain about that. Foreign nationals in international rugby. That's something in itself, isn't it? I think we can argue about that until we're blue in the face. I don't like it. If you're not good enough to play for the nation you were born in, tough luck. I mean, yeah, it's great to see some of these international players. Looks like Henshaw's coming back. 2 Cents did a big analysis of that in the World Cup. I've got that written down from yesterday. I still need to have a look at that. I wrote that down yesterday, 2 Cents Rugby. I'm going to have a look at that. I'm going to give that a little butchers. Australia came out the worst. I will have a look at that. Oi, off. Mark's a good guy, knows his stuff. Yeah, I will look that up. And both have gone down, but ball's available, so we'll play on. Fantastic stuff. What have we got? We've got 18 minutes to go. 18-13 to Wales. Ireland with the red card. And they've still got some fight. And Gareth Mason in South Africa. He's always a laugh during games. Oh, is he? Let's get a pen. Gareth Mason. I think I've seen some of his stuff doing some research for a rugby watch along. I had a look at some guy from South Africa. I also had a look at Fab Rugby as well. But yeah. Oh, you were going to go and try and meet up with him when you were down there? Oh, nice. Nice. And these use it. 5 seconds for use it, and it's they very rarely stay within these 5 seconds, but we've got a crossing call here. Let's have another look at that. Yeah, very evident. Very evident crossing, and the penalty. You would say that are Ireland getting tired? France has the opposite problem with club rugby compared to the other countries. The club game has too much power, whereas every other country has a domestic league that pales in comparison to Test rugby. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think it's a bit embarrassing how much power the top 14 have over the French governing body. You know, when you look at the Autumn Nations Cup and France weren't allowed to pick half of their best players because they weren't being released from club rugby, I think is an absolute joke. But yeah, a line out that looked like it was going to go absolutely wrong has come off for Wales, and they're on the front foot. But they didn't do so bad in the end, right? No, look, credit to France. They had a great Autumn Nations Cup, and they were robbed. Yeah, let's be perfectly honest. In that final, they were absolutely robbed. We were shit. But yeah, here we go. So, penalty in at the side, and these are just tired penalties now, aren't they? Ireland are giving away sloppy penalties, and right under the post. That's a bit tight, that one though, isn't it? But anyway, we're under the posts. You would say this is going over, and that would really put pressure on Ireland to get back into this. Anyway, moving on. What are we saying? If that second French team can do that to England, it speaks volumes as to the depth there is now. Yeah, there's loads of depth in the French squad. There's loads of quality players in France. They just don't get as much of a look in because we're all looking at the big money players. You know, Finn Russell. Now I can't think of any other French league players, but there's massive names in the French league that drown out those French players. No question that France had a number of shite years, but I've kept a close eye on their form from under 20 over the last 7 years. Those guys now make up a big number of the French squad. Yeah, absolutely. You know, the French under 20 side have been pretty good of late, and that's the breeding ground for any national squad, really, isn't it? So if you can get it right there, you can get it right in 5 years' time. They changed the GIF players. That's made a huge difference. Oh, have they? I didn't realise they changed the rules. Yeah, many of the players that won the under-20s Rugby World Cup are now in the French squad. Indeed. What are we saying? Penalty Island, Wales not rolling away. Well, he's made every effort to get out of there, hasn't he? But it doesn't help when GIF means they must have been 5 years at the same club until 22. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, some of these French acronyms that I'm not up to date with. But Johnny has not found touch, and Wales clear their lines with a massive boot. Rugby Pass now do a weekly on French rugby. Very, very interesting stuff. You should check it out. Oh, do they? I do like a bit of Rugby Pass content. They have some really good content. Although every time I go on there to find something new, it tends to be Australian domestic, which I don't keep up with. I say Australian domestic, I mean Super League. Even the French aren't up to date with the acronyms. I need to get better at my my league knowledge. Well, my leagues knowledge, not league. But Ireland still coming forward. Credit to their heart here. They haven't died. But Peter O'Mahony's got a lot to answer for in the change room after this game. No beers for Peter O'Mahony today. Super League, I think, is the European Rugby League competition. Oh, am I having a mare? Am I having a mare? Super Rugby. Sorry. Super Rugby. Yes, you're right. I am having a mare this afternoon. I do know a little bit of what I'm talking about. Not a lot, but a little. Anyway, while I continue my faux pas, let's get back to this game. Ireland are not dying. They're not ready to give it up. Although we have got an Irishman down, so Ireland down to 13. You're a Newcastle lad, right? Is League popular up there? No, not really. Sexton again. What are we saying? Yeah, it's a knee to the head. Yeah, that's just a rugby incident, isn't it? They've tried putting Sexton in bubble wrap. It doesn't work. He oh. Now then, here's the question. He must go off for a HIA, surely. But does he? Wow, how many swear words did Sexton just fit into one sentence? I've just seen it, and that's absolutely brilliant. They're telling it. Can you lip read? I don't think you have to be any good at lip reading to pick up that. But yeah. Right. He is going off for a HIA. He's not happy about it. Let's say that. He's not happy about it. But watching him walk off, I think he's done. That was a proper tantrum. Do you know what I mean? Full on temper tantrum, wasn't it? And he's taking the strapping off. I think he knows what an example he is to young players. Well, I suppose, Reece, you could argue that he is filled with passion and commitment to his team. But yeah, he took his wrist bandages off. He's taking a bath. Oh, it's sorry. It is Rob. Sorry, I just saw Stark and went with Reece. Sorry, Rob. Yeah, it's we know that the swearing goes on in the game. We know it never happens near a referee's mic, or doesn't too often. But yeah, it's not a great example. But you could argue that he's passionate about his team. Don't think this reflects badly on Ireland, barring Mahoney's blunder. No. Look, Ireland have had a... Considering the circumstances, they've not had a bad game at all. In fact, quite the opposite. Okay. Well, welcome back, Rob. Any kid will hear worse in any club bar in the country. Indeed. And see much worse as well in any club bar in the country. They've played well and still going for it. Well, it's still only just, but it's still on for them, isn't it? I remember once hearing Peter O'Mahony call Sinclair a stupid "see you next Tuesday" a few years back. Indeed. Hello.
Hi. I might have broken the oven, but I fixed it again.
Okay. What are we saying?
Go.
And Ireland now on the front foot. And they could make it a 1-point game. Connor took a big shot, did he? Not yet, he hasn't. Knees are down. Unless he's... Well, he'd be stupid if he goes for a snipe here. And he has. Oh, good night. Good night. But he's alright. He's wiggled free. Zamet's taken a monster shot. There are some monster shots flying in here, aren't there? Oh, an advanced penalty. It's tough, isn't it? Some of these not rolling away. Some of these not rolling away have been a bit harsh, I think. You know, if you're making every effort, I can see why it's like that, but yeah. Anyway, oh, collarbone gone. Has it? Looks like he's broken his wrist. Looks like he's broken his wrist. Oh, stood on his hand. Stood on his hand. Yeah, they're never nice. They're never nice in the cold, are they? Ireland going for 3 points then. 9 minutes left. They're going to get the ball back. And you make it a 5-point game. Oh, well, a 6-point game. Twitchy bum time for Ireland. And when was the last time they were in this position? Zamet's still getting treatment. Going to be a great last 9 minutes, potentially, yeah. So Wayne Barnes has decided that the medical attention is not going to affect play in any way, so we can continue, which is good. Billy Burns, oh, he flirted with that near post, but away we go. Game on indeed. Going to be a great last 9 minutes. I think so. It's got potential, isn't it? Wouldn't it put it past Ireland to come back? Murray off. Well, fresh legs could give them an inch of pace. Assuming things don't improve, I'd put money on France clinching Le Grand Slam. Yeah, it's there for them. I think at the minute only the French can beat the French. I haven't seen anything this weekend that would suggest anybody's going to remotely compete with them. So yeah, but I think it's the French's to lose. But we know how the French like to do that. So, you know, they might go in at half-time against Ireland or Wales or England or even Scotland, and have a glass of wine and a cheese board, as we know they've done in the past. Sean Edwards has stopped the French being French. Yeah, he has. He has. They're very good defensively. Consistency will be key. Yeah, absolutely. Last year, Scotland was the only team that beat the French. Were they? Oh, they did, didn't they? Yeah. And cost them the title. I forgot about that. So, Wales giving away a penalty off feet. And we got a man down. Bit of cramp. Bit of cramp. Right. Look at that. All of the carries, all of the most carriers, or the highest carriers, all from Ireland. So yeah, that's speaks volumes really to the way Ireland have clung on to this game. What do we got next weekend? So next weekend we are back for all 3 games, and we kick things off at 2 o'clock on Saturday with England Italy, and our late game is Scotland Wales. We'll probably do 2 separate streams. The one stream didn't really work this week, so yeah, we'll do we'll do a stream for each game. So we'll have England Italy, Scotland Wales, and then on Sunday we'll be back for Ireland and France. Imagine Edwards in your face for missing a tackle, giving it loads of Northern and plenty of F. Oh God, I couldn't be chewed with that. But he's a cracking coach. England missed a major trick when he was available. Eddie should have got hold of him. Because could you imagine the way England defend anyway, with a bit of Edwards sprinkled on top of that? Oh, ain't nobody getting through that defence. Ireland still look like they're going to come away with this. You still haven't got a method for taking donations? I haven't. Maybe we'll look at something for next week. Because it's for the club, for the rugby club, rather than for me. I've never really thought about donations, but yeah. It was a bit cooked, that kick. You've got ball in hand. You've got 5 minutes left on the clock. I don't think you need a miracle just yet. What, you can get a bigger following just by having donos? Can you? We did well in the Six Nations, in the line-out setup across valuable time. Yeah. I wouldn't be rushing this if I was Wales. Oh, I think Wayne Barnes keeps asking who the receiver is, but I'm guessing he's talking about who's playing 9. And interfering in the air. Wales penalty. Another minute off the clock, you would say. It just works that way. It's how you build an audience. Yeah, I suppose. I need to stream more to build an audience first, if I'm being honest. But yeah, no, I get your point. I take your point as well. Where are we at? Yeah, so I do this for my local rugby club. This is the rugby club's channel, and I'm sure the chairman would welcome donations to build this stream and build this up. Yeah, we will figure it out for next week. So join us next week. It's a reason to come back. Super. Right, so Wales line out just inside the 10. The coin won't become millionaires, but it buys balls and tackle bags. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Rob Stark will tell you all about... Oh, the club won't become... Yeah, I figured that out after I read it out loud. Rob Stark will tell you all about buying tackle bags and balls for this club. It's a never-ending job, is it not, Rob? But yes, a donation would be more than welcome, and we will thank you graciously for it. And we'll get that set up for next week. I'll talk to the chairman in the week and see how we do it. If you can get review vids of big games uploaded quickly after the game, you can grow your followers base as well. Yeah, so as I say, this is Dees TV, so this is Dunstablians Rugby Club in Bedfordshire. It's their channel, so it's one of my favourite pastimes, raising money for new equipment. Yeah, what I'd like to do is have my own channel called Rugby Geeks, which I've made. I just never do anything on it. So maybe that's something I can do. I can do for that channel. That's exactly how 2 cents built his numbers. Oh, interesting. So yeah, I mean, when we move to Rugby Geeks, probably after the Six Nations, we'll do we'll do a couple of games a week, maybe Prem games, top 14, Pro 12, maybe Super Rugby, bit of everything, and we can look at doing some reviews. The fat lady is warming up her vocal cords. You're not wrong. As advantage for Wales with what? 1 minute 10 seconds left on the clock for a knock-on. This would have to be a massive scrum from Ireland. Oh, Tompkins, the Sarries boy. Oh, that's awkward, isn't it? But here we go. So, what's the betting that this goes down? The opera is about to start. Do you know what I mean? They're not singing in the valleys though, are they? What? 20 quid says this scrum goes down. First time. Bet it has to be reset. Oh, they will be singing of course they'll be singing in the valleys, won't they? Because Wales are winning. 10 seconds left, and what's he done? What's he done? When we're all back in the stadiums, we should come over to Toulouse and do a weekend Friday night match, Saturday night match, and a Sunday match, and then fly home Sunday evening. That sounds like a plan. Sam, it's still on. Yeah, he only got, I think so. He only got stood on his hand. A bit of ice, and he's all right. What has George North done here? What was he thinking? 10 seconds left on the clock, and he kicks it away. Oh, could you imagine the scenes if Ireland managed to... Oh, deliberate knock-on, is it? Oh. '81st minute. And we could have... Nah, it's not deliberate. He's gone penalty only. Oh, could you imagine if this went to 100 minutes again? This is a good confidence boost for PVAC. Is it? Is it? You've scraped a win against a 14-man Ireland. '83rd minute try? Question mark? Maybe, maybe. Not anymore. No. I thought Wales had it in the bag. I'm not sure what George North was thinking. Stabbing through a grubber. But Ireland still have the ball. Just about recycle. Oh! Alan Wynne-Jones is not getting back up in any rush. But it's still alive. This would be some effort. This would be some effort from Ireland to make it from their own, pretty much, well, from their own 22 and score. Oh, but poor pass and they lose meters. This has got incredibly tense. Massive forward pass. Was it? Has it been called though? Oh! Oh! I can't stop watching. I'm trying to read the chat. Penalty Ireland, is it? Oh, it's gone loose. What is going on? It's flat. I'll give that flat. Well, hey, hats off to Ireland. Luckily Irish, maybe. They go for touch, do they? Well, they have to. And a penalty, yeah, not rolling away. Okay, George North. George North, what have you done? What have you done, George North? Not only did he butcher the kick 10 seconds from time, and George North, make sure. Oh. Oh. What have we just witnessed? Boys. Billy. Oh, Billy. Billy. Don't be a hero. What have you done? You just had to make sure, mate. Oh. Wow. Wow. Who would be a 10? Farrell's going to kill someone. Owen. That's who he's going to kill. Boys, what a game. What a game. I enjoyed that. I hope you did. Final score, Wales 21, Ireland 16. Is Pivac out of the woods? Absolutely not. What is it with those burns, boys? God knows. Hey, what game of rugby. Right, wow. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend the afternoon with you. I'm going to go and cook my roast dinner now. But what a game of rugby. Join us next Saturday for more Six Nations action. Right here on Dees TV. It's been great fun. Have a good weekend, everybody. And we will see you next week.